Hello friends, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is natural resource, land, soil and water. Now in the previous chapter we had done about the introduction of resources. So natural resources, land, soil and water, it is very important resource for the human being. So in natural resources, if you remember, we had talked about the non-renewable resources and renewable resources, which were like minerals, wind, solar energy, water. Okay, so then forest, flora, fauna, when we had discussed about the natural resources. So these are some of the very important resources which is very much important in the life of the human beings. Now this land, soil and water, they are so important that in all forms of life on the earth, it plays a vital role. So let us see that what is the land. If we talk about, then land area, if you see, if you must have seen the globe or somewhere, that it covers a small part, smaller than the water body. The water body, as we know, that it covers around about 2/3 of the part, and the land area, it covers about 30% of the total surface of the earth. Okay, so 30%, and then this 30%, for that 30%, if you see, then when we work on the land, then we have lot of needs. Human beings, they have lot of needs, and it satisfies 90% of the needs from food, clothing, shelter from this land only. So as we know that human beings, they need food, clothes and shelter, and for all these purposes the land is very much essential for it. So the land is very much important thing, you can say the most suitable for the human habitation. And then when we see that land areas, now land area is not uniform everywhere. Somewhere it is mountain, somewhere it is plateau, somewhere it is plain. Okay, so if we see, then only a very small part, like 30% of the land area is the area where people live, and it is, that means the other areas are also there, like mountains, or where the climatic condition is very harsh. Okay, where the relief feature is not friendly. Not friendly here means where the people are not able to survive in such difficult physical features. Then the remaining part, if you see, then they are very, somewhere there are very thinly populated, somewhere we see that the land, the people are very residing in a great number, that means the area is very much highly populated. Okay, so there are different types of land uses. So land uses, if we see, then it is nothing else but the utilization of land, what we utilize in, that is the named as the land use. So it is being used for different purposes. There are many purposes for which the human beings use the land. For example, cultivation of crops, grazing animals, minings, construction of roads, houses and other buildings, and then setting up the industries. So many are there. So in this way the land is utilized in a number of ways, and this utilization of land is known as land use. Of course, the land use also depends upon certain factors, like the physical or the economical or the human factor. So this how the people are using the land, like some of them are like what type of soil is there, then what is the climatic condition, then what is the technical knowledge of the people, how are they going to use the land. For all these things, it is these are the some physical, economical and human factors on which the land use depends upon, and then the interaction of these factors are bringing the land under the use. Now let us see about the comparative study of the comparative land use in the world. In the world, there are there are some countries which are developed countries, then there are certain countries which are developing countries. So in this we will find that the skills and the other developments which affects the type of use which the people are doing in the respective country. And now in developed countries, supposing there are much more land which is in comparison to the people, who means the comparison to the population which are living here there. So and the technology is very high. So in such cases the best possible use is possible. Then some countries are there like Asia, Africa countries, and there is increasing urbanization, the density of the population is very high. Then there are some mountains for mining, then clearing of forest is done, then extensive irrigation is also done. So use of fertilizers, pesticides, chemical fertilizers are also there. So what happened, these are decreasing the productivity of the land, and we know that land is very uneven everywhere. Somewhere, as I told you, that somewhere it is mountains, somewhere it is plains, somewhere it is plateaus. So after understanding the features of these resources, then only the land can be brought into a sensible use. Let us see about the mountain. Now here you see you are having one data which is showing that like India, then cropland, how much, what is the percent of the cropland, then pastures, then forest and other uses. So in this way we are having the data for at least 6 countries over here. So it is a comparative study. So why there is a difference in this crop land, pastures, forest? Because of the different in the skills and the technologies which are available. And of course the relief feature also, it is very important, as we said that the economic factors and the human factors and the physical factors, these are the actually factors which affect the land use. So for that reason we if we see the mountains, plateaus and plains, then there is the difference in the density of the population residing there and the type of land use which is done. Now what is this a mountain? It is high altitude region of surface which is called mountain, means the altitude of such regions are very high. And then the mountains of the world, you know, they are there are many different mountains in the world, and there many useful forests are also there. So it is very much important for the human beings, because that is also a natural resource. And then of course these forests, these are the homes for the variety of the wildlife which is living over there. And then it is having many perennial rivers. Now what is these perennial rivers? Which flows throughout the year, and they get the source of water through the snowy regions which is ice capped. Such mountains which are having ice capped, so it gets a regular source of water throughout the year. So these are the some of the perennial rivers. So these mountains, they are also the source of many perennial rivers. And then the melting of snow from the mountain peaks, what happens? It keeps on supplying the river with the water throughout the year. So this is the perennial river. And then it also helps in the formation of soil, because we know that the soil is formed from the rocks, and the weathering and erosion process is also done by the flowing of the rivers when the river washes the area. So these are all some of the factors which help in the formation of the soil also. Okay, then plateaus. Plateaus, they are raised tableland, and they are called plateaus, although they are very high and they are flat from top. It is not like mountain, it is flat from top. So if we see, then 45% of the surface of the earth is covered by plateaus, and there are many minerals also stored over there. So these plateaus are also known as the storehouses, and in such areas many mining activities and related industries, supposing whatever is minerals are been excavated from there, so the related industries are also very much common in such areas. Then we have like the mountains. If you say mountains and plateaus, then we have the plains area also. Now these plain area where the agricultural activities, because these are the low lying areas, and here the people are very much comfortable in residing, as the agricultural work activity is also very much possible over here. Because in mountainous region, what will happen, agriculture is not possible, it is very difficult over there. Then plateau regions, there is like for agriculture, if you say, this is something very important factor for the survival of human beings. So the plateau areas, there is scarcity of water also, so minerals are there, so majorly there is agriculture, but majorly industries are set up in such areas. Now many of the high plateaus, they are like either desert or suitable for cattle grazing only. And then the plain areas, they are very fertile region. See these perennial rivers which are being flowing, they all supply this plain area with good alluvial, and it is very much fertile and very much supportive for the agriculture. Majorly the agricultural activity is carried out in the plain areas, and it is very much easy for the means of communication, transportation. Then since many people reside over there, so the number of people are more, that means availability of cheap labor is also very much easy in the plain area. And then supposing the raw materials which are available over there, that is also very much sufficient. And all these things, if we see, owing to all these features, nearly 2/3 of the world population lives over here. That means as compared to the mountainous and the plateau region, plain areas, they are more highly populated. Then let us see about the conservation of land resources. Now conservation of land resources are the things which are of great use, so that has to be conserved very much. It has to be given a lot of priority for the conservation. The demand of the housings and foods with the growth of the population is increasing day by day, and that is why the destruction of arable land and the forest covers, they are also being continuously being done, and then we need to conserve this. So what are the conservation, what are the methods which are conserving these lands? That is conserving soil and forest. That means it should not be let to be drained, and the forest also has to be conserved, as it is the very important source of our resources. Adopting scientific techniques, then regulating the judicious use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, which helps in the growing of the productivity of the agricultural products. Then checking desertification, afforestation and land reclamation. Afforestation, why? Because recklessly the forest has been cut down, so it has to be afforested, it has to be replaced, otherwise it will be creating a disbalance in the nature. Then checking overgrazing. See, animals, they are grazing over the land, so this overgrazing, due to this overgrazing, what happens, the land becomes open, and then wind blows and it washes, it erodes the topsoil, which is a great loss. So this soil has to be conserved. So for this, we have to also check the overgrazing. Then providing better irrigation facilities. If better irrigation facilities are there, then what will happen? Then the land will be can be cultivated and brought under the use properly, and it will help the people also to reside in such areas. Now let us see what is landslide. This landslide, I think from the word it is much clear that when a land slides, it is known as landslide. So what it is actually the form of mass movement of the materials like rocks and other debris of the earth, and it is usually in the hilly region. It slides down, and then it is when it slides over in the massive way, then it is known as landslide. And these landslides, they often occur, and these are some of the natural calamities. There are other natural calamities also, like earthquake, flood, volcanic eruption. These are also natural calamities. So landslide is also one of the natural calamity. And what happens when there is heavy rainfall? Then due to heavy rainfall, what happens? The soil becomes wet and it loses the grip also. And sometimes it also blocks the flow of the river also. If slides down, it affects a lot. So this landslide, it affects the life, and also it destroys lot of property of the human beings, and a very serious concern is required for the checking this landslide. Now let us see the mitigation mechanism. Now what is this mitigation mechanism? That is, mitigation is actually the effort to reduce the loss of life and property by the lessening the impact of disaster. Okay, now these are the disasters which we were just talking about, the landslide, like volcanic eruption, then this landslide, earthquake, floods, so such natural disasters. Now in order to form this mitigation to the effective, we need to be take care about the actions, and then it can be reduced to from getting this natural disaster. So this the reduce of human and the financial consequences later on, because later on it affects the human life. So the whatever the consequences is financial consequence, supposing the property is lost, so it will again the human beings, they have to, whosoever the property belong to, they have to again invest lot of money for the destruction which happened due to this natural calamities. So it affects the it also affects the human being for the financial status also. Now there are some techniques which are being followed. Okay, so what are these? These are the construction and the retention wall to stop the landslipping. Supposing landslides, then what happens? The landslides, and to stop it, there should be some wall which should be constructed, and so that wherever there is a possibility of landslides, there only this type of retention wall should be made, so that it can stop the landslides, or you can say the slipping of the land. Then afforestation also stops the landslide. How? Because afforestation, the trees and the plants which are planted, that holds the soil, and it will of course help in stopping the landslide. Then drainage control work to control the movement of the land from with rainwater. As we know that the water also loosens the soil, so we should also have the control over the and it should be worked out in such a way that the drainage, you can say, or you can say the rivers which are flowing, they also should be worked out in such a way that the land should not slide anyway. Here we are having the map of India. Here we see that see different regions are shown with different colors. So here are the brown color which is showing the unproductive land, okay, where the land is not productive much. Then there are scrubs areas which is given in light yellow color. Then green color, of course you can understand that it is a forests areas. So lot of forests, these are all the natural resources which is present in our country. Then we have some arable land also. Now what is this arable land? That is any land that is capable of being plowed and used to grow the crops. So these are the different types of lands which has been found in our country, and this is what we learned, that how the natural resources which are very much the land, soil and water, how these are very much important, and how the land which is been divided into different forms of land like mountains, plateaus and plains, where is the people residing in more density, and which are the areas like mountainous regions. These are the places where there is the people are very sparsely populated, and the plateau areas also lot of population lives, but as not as much as compared to the plain areas, because it is very much productive, and plateau area where majorly the industries are being set up. I hope you must have been very much clear about the land. And then this is all for the today's video. So tomorrow we shall be discussing about the soil. In the next video I shall be sharing about the soil formation and the soil profile and the different types of soils which are being found in India. That's all for today. Thank you.